I can't believe we're doing this, but today we're actually gonna talk about... Hey, what's up? My name is Alex. I'm a music producer, and today I want to... We're actually doing this. We're gonna break down Baka Mitai from Yakuza 0. I should also say that I'm so excited for the new Yakuza game to come out next week, Like a Dragon. I've had the chance of playing it beforehand because my friends at Sega sent me a copy to play, and then they told me if you like the music, make some content about it. I very likely will because everything I'm seeing and hearing in the game is blowing me away. I would recommend it to anyone who's into JRPGs, Japan, and likes absurdly funny things, and also emotional stories. I'm not gonna say anything more, but if you're on the fence about the game, I would totally recommend it if you like those things. Let's go. Man, that is so... Like, you hear straight away how different this song is gonna be compared to many other songs you hear in video games, usually. With this beautiful string run that kind of reminds me of I Believe from Persona 5. That is a surefire way to create a flutter of emotions in whoever is listening, but what hits the nostalgia a lot is the harmonica leading that solo as the beginning of the song. I don't know why, but the harmonica sounds like a very lonesome instrument to me. I can picture like a man standing by himself playing it, thinking of past memories. And in fact, we hear it even in Final Fantasy VII Remake Hollow, and it fits very perfectly for that reason. It represents Cloud's state of mind in there, which feels pretty freaking lonely and desperate. And also the harmonica was the signature instrument of the most lonesome character in the first Digimon anime, Matt. I love those chords, by the way. The piano and organs do something like this, which is a very interesting passage. Like, this first half sounds very sunny. It's like, yeah, it's happy, and then this sounds wrong. It's like this intro in just a few seconds told us the whole purpose of the song. Like, happiness, it ends in absolute drama. In the beginning, we feel like we're falling in love, and now we feel like we're falling down. That's pretty powerful. And indeed, the sadness becomes super apparent when you hear this big man singing in such an emotional way. The cool thing about Bakamitai is that there's multiple versions. There was one in Yakuza 5 with Akiyama, who actually sang in a much higher tone. When Kiryu sings it, the track goes down by I think 3 semitones. This is sort of like it was meant to sound normally. It sounds more happy. With Kiryu, it becomes like... So by definition, it's a bit more depressed and more grave, simply because of Kiryu's vocal range. I think Kiryu's version probably hits even harder. And I love these like guitars in the background, as well the strings. Like, everyone loves this song because of the vocals and because of the meme with Dame Dane. And that's because, sadly, in my opinion, the voice in a song, the lyrics are the face of the music. The reality is just way more behind the vocals that make the music cool rather than just the vocalists. And this is another case of that situation. I'm sure the vocals here are amazing, but the track itself is backing them up a lot. That string and the guitar feel, it's like the string is saying "Kuseni" in a bigger way that Kiryu's voice can do. So they're like accentuating that word, which I do not know what it means, sadly, because I don't speak Japanese so well. But this is about regret and love lost, and the orchestra just accentuates when Kiryu says that. And also I love that freaking guitar. That guitar is everything. Like, if you remove it, you remove half of the emotions in this song. Sounds like Santana or something, which is very current in Japanese soundtracks. There you go, another example of the orchestra backing the most emotional phrases in the song. Like, yeah, that sounds very strong because I love you is such a strong thing to say. But when you check out what the instrumental is doing, it's like making that one phrase even more thick, because we have a choir saying those words along with Kiryu, which accentuates the musical weight of the phrase "I love you." That is called layering. Because of that impact, the phrase "I love you" becomes much stronger in the song. That layering makes it as thick as lasagna. Yes, I really compared video game music to lasagna, but I'm not joking. You know how lasagna has different layers and each layer gives it a more juicy taste? Music is kind of the same. If you want an example of that, I talked about it in my analysis of Fire Emblem's God Shattering Stars. That huge sound is given by strings, choir, brass, guitars, organ. They are put together like the layers of a lasagna and they make it so freaking juicy, and the result we get is... The same is happening on Baka Mitai, like I just explained. So yeah, Baka Mitai is exactly like lasagna. Mind blown. All the music theory you need is just here. Music is lasagna. That's it. And also like the bass, like it's like the bass is saying Rokuni along with Kiryu. So it's like the music beneath the vocals is leading the vocals a lot. While instrument cannot speak like humans, they can convey musical ideas together with the vocalist. And when the vocals and the music blend so perfectly, it's just amazing. Man. See, again. And I love that. This whole passage is about the orchestra and Kiryu blending together. Then Kiryu does his thing, and when he starts resting, like singing a note like the orchestra takes over. And when the orchestra stops, they kind of join together again, and then Kiryu sings his line, and then the orchestra takes over. So it's not boring because there's so many things happening. Okay? Together. Now Kiryu rests, and the orchestra kicks in. Together. Kiryu. Now orchestra. That is what I call color response. I mentioned it many times in my videos. This happens a lot in music, but in this case, it's so effective at pulling us inside the emotions of the singer. And these chords are so cool. There you go. There's another example of the instruments elevating the music. Before the real dame dane, what we have is a build-up. Kind of like in dubstep, you have this... Then there's the freaking kid that screams... That's the same thing, although here we don't have some electronic riser sounds and effects. We have the strings going higher and higher. When you reach for a higher note in the octaves of an instrument, it sounds like a car speeding up, like... That's the same thing. And when you hear a sound rising in tonality like that, you feel an emotional upheaval. And that's exactly what's happening here. The music is like hyping our emotions, bringing them to the peak, so that when Kiryu delivers his line, we are ready to be blown away and cry. Oh my god. Again, what I love the most is how high this sounds now. Like if you check out the parts before, Kiryu's vocals were quite low. And now he reached his highest peak in terms of what vocal range he can reach. Dame Dane, by the way, is the equivalent of the kid screaming, "Yes, oh my god!" in Skrillex songs. It's like that catchphrase that when you hear it, you know, the drop will come. Although in this case, the drop is not crazy dubstep basses, it's just emotions. What I love the most about this part is that, again, the instrumental is doing cool shit. Like, man, that bass is pretty great. Like, you know what I'm about to say, right? We can make it funky. Short interruption, by the way. I just realized that Kiryu's shirt has chains, just like mine. I guess I'm a Yakuza character now. Another thing I love is the vocals, like... And also, it's like harmonized. And what I love is that these are mostly female vocals, and they are the sort of like emotional accompaniment to Kiryu's voice. Male vocals and female vocals usually have very different potentials. Using both is the best emotional spectrum you can have. There's some singers who can represent the qualities of male and female vocals at the same time because their vocal range is amazing, but usually it's not like that. So having them glued together gives us this ultimate emotional upheaval. Also, I love the way the strings accompany. Then you have the guitar. And this, like... That's so cool. Again, female vocals, which reminds me of a certain opening from Smash Bros. Melee. That is not necessarily intentional, but for every single Melee player, that is a way to play with our nostalgia, which is what this song is all about. Man. Man, that guitar, that sort of like clean guitar playing those simple but effective riff is another sound that creates a lot of sense of lonesome and, you know, sadness, and it's heard in stuff like Earth Song from Michael Jackson. Like if you check out that song, it's amazing because Michael Jackson is a fucking legendary vocalist and everything, and there's an orchestra and everything, but what makes me cry about the song is the guitar. Man, that's amazing. What is special about this song for the most part is something I heard in Persona 5 as well. Sometimes in Persona 5 you may have songs that talk about some dark things or some positive things, but the harmonic language, like the chords that are being played, are contrasting that. For example, here. That is very relaxing and it's like soothing, but what Kiryu is saying is, I was such a fool to fall in love with you and stuff like that. So in the moment where he realizes that he's done something wrong, he was a fool, that's where the music kind of releases and it's like, yeah, you were a fool, just let it go. And that's such a beautiful contrast. It reminds me of certain like anime, like it teaches you something that sometimes letting go is the right thing to do and moving on. I suppose that's kind of the meaning. That's what the music is telling Kiryu, like move on. Probably, I don't know. I'm just doing conjectures because I don't even speak Japanese so much, but I know a bit of the meaning on this song, and I would speculate that that's why the harmonic language in this moment is kind of major. You just feel this track understands me. He understands the conflict of being a human. You know that nothing is black and white. Sometimes it's a mixture of both, and maybe that's why people love Baka Mitai so much. You don't even need to speak Japanese to understand the feelings in it. You felt them in your life before. It's one of those cases where the song is a meme, but it's also a very good song. So it's a good meme. I will be talking about other music from Yakuza because it's a freaking amazing game and the music is pretty damn cool. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a video about the vocal music or a video about the instrumentals one. Honestly, Yakuza is a game that excels at both. You have this sentimental music, but also you have like high energy rock. Whatever you listen to in this game, you're usually gonna cry, which I don't know why, but I love. If you wanna check out more Yakuza videos from me in the future, subscribe, there's gonna be more. I will see you guys in the next one.